Bird identification also have another concept of remembering some body structures of these birds, like uh, physical features, especially the beak, a long one, short one, whether it is a blunt one or hooked one. So according to their feeding habit, they have developed their beak. By remembering these structures, you can also identify birds. So according to feeding type, beak is there. Habitat preferences and behavior. Where do they live? Obviously we are talking about wetlands, no doubt. So there is a specific habitat as a wetland, but how do they behave when they move, or when they feed, when they relax, or when they clean their body? So many things are there. So their behavior pattern is also very important. From long distance you can able to identify bird with their behavioral movement. Beak size and shape we have just talked about. Then neck length, how much it's long. So this neck, for example, this bird is having medium length of the bird, this neck, but compared to this bird it has a longer one. It has a long neck and beak. You can observe beak of this animal. It's a long one, pointed at the end, and it has a different color pattern compared to other one or the first one. Some birds have webbed toes or feet, because wetland birds mostly they have webbed feet, to swim in the water very easily, especially all the duck types, they do have webbed feet. Then length of legs, whether they are having short length or they are having long leg, like this animal, very long one. So they can easily go in deep of the wetland. They, it is not necessary, it is not, they don't get fear out of any kind of depth to get the food material. Then size of the bird, whether the bird is a small one, large one, medium one, according to the size you can understand or you can remember. As well as posture. So how this posture is, whether it is bowing down, whether it is a straight one. So posture is also very different important concept. Let's go for this bird survey now. Whenever you are ready to go for birding, at that time first you need to select your site. Selection of site is very important, because wetlands are very important sites, and you should not go inside the wetland, as well as you should not go and disturb them at different times. So once you select your site, you stuck with the same site regularly, and observe and survey the birds. So choose a wetland or waterway of interest, and always take a friend with you. Don't go alone. Take some friends and try to remember different birds. Next, some materials you need to carry. Number one, you can carry binocular, because if you're having good sight, sense of sight, obviously it is good. But if you don't have, you need to watch the birds very closely. By keeping yourself away from birds, you need good quality binoculars. Secondly, you can capture them in your memories with the help of camera. If you have a digital camera, then it's a good thing that you can capture these memories, and whenever you come home and you can see those photos on the computer with enlarged view, you can identify birds very easily. So for identification, camera, binocular, and lastly you should carry one notebook or a diary. This notebook or diary is useful for noting down the things what you have saw there at the site. So how many birds were there? That means one species you saw, but how many similar birds are also present in that area, on which day, at what timing. All these notings should be done in the notebook. So carry notebook. Now behavior is very important. You should keep yourself quiet, still as possible, so as not to disturb or scare the birds, because they are busy in their routine. They are busy in taking food, they are busy in cleaning their body, and you should not disturb them. Otherwise uh, they will stop their work, their routine work, and they will move from one wetland to other, and in that particular time they may disturb their whole day-to-day pattern. That's why keep yourself away from them as well as quiet. Then, to regularize this bird survey, because birding is a hobby, I know that, but this hobby can be converted into an education. This hobby can be converted later into research also, because if the participant some of you may be students, some of you may be teachers, those who are participating in this birds survey or in this webinar, those who are teaching to higher education or those who are learning in higher education, especially botany, zoology, environmental science, these students and teacher can have this regular bird survey. If you have a good wetland nearby you and birds are always do visit there, go and maintain a survey. It can be done with the help of a pattern or a format, developing a format. So this format I have prepared. It is titled as a wetland bird monitoring. Here you can write your college name, date of monitoring, on which date you go, start time. It should be normally early in the morning, about 6:30 to 9 o'clock, or maximum 10 o'clock in the morning, and in the evening 4 to 6 o'clock. So this particular time period is good for watching birds. So you can write start time, finish time, site name, what is the site, what is the name of the site, you can write. How were the weather conditions on that day? So whether it was a sunny day, partly cloudy, windy, overcast, or raining, you can mention that. You can also mention the temperature on the day or on that starting and finishing time. So these are very micro points, but those are essential for maintaining a record, and this record will help you to develop a particular research. And very important and last part is a list of birds what you saw there on the site. That is common name, scientific name, number of birds you saw there, and their conservation status. So whether they are threatened, they are near threatened, they are endangered, vulnerable. So there are different conservation status given by IUCN, you can mention in this column. Now this is actually the initial part I would like to tell all you participants. Now after this we shall go for